These are first-hand accounts from people who turn to Reddit to talk about their experiences with heroin and addiction. There's no commentary here, just their words and what they went through. If you want more stories like this, like the video and subscribe. What does it feel like to do heroin? Actually, this is an obvious question, but it's not what you might think. Let me explain it to you. I've been an opiate addict for a long time and tried many drugs. Drugs that are uppers have the most obvious euphoria. For example, if you take Adderall, Coke, meth, speed, MDMA, you will get this shining, bright euphoria, self-confidence, energy, and other drug-specific feelings. For meth, like you are king, or for MDMA, like you love everyone. However, you owe these drugs back what they delivered to you. After a meth binge or lots of MDMA use, or staying up all night on Coke, you will feel like shit. To an extent, this aspect is similar to an alcoholic hangover. On the other hand, for many people who experiment with heroin, they are underwhelmed, not including IV usage, but most experimenters rarely ever IV first time. They just feel good, chill, happy, but they feel like this spooky drug heroin hasn't delivered. They are just mellow. Oh, obviously, it has all been a lie, they will think. Heroin isn't spooky, it's chill. It's not addictive like everyone else thinks. It doesn't make you do stupid shit or stay up all day and hallucinate like amphetamines or Coke. It doesn't empty your serotonin like MDMA or give you a hangover like alcohol. People tend to just think, oh, what a nice drug. So the next day they wake up and everything is normal. No headache or shitty feeling, just a slight afterglow of that nice feeling. Oh, it was cheap as well. It only cost $10 for a whole night of being high. I thought people said heroin was expensive. And then next weekend comes. There are all these drugs I could do, but I liked heroin. It didn't fuck me up. I could still think clearly. No hangover. No feeling like shit later. I still was awake. It just made me happy and content with life. Oh, and it's only $10. Well, I should get some more for the whole weekend. This is great. I will use heroin on the weekends now. Now let's say this person works and has responsibilities. He knows he can't go into work drunk or on MDMA or high. So he doesn't. It's actually simple, but heroin, well, the user might actually find they do better work on heroin. Instead of being sad or grumpy or depressed with his job, he is just happy, mellow, content. Everything is fine and the world is beautiful. It's raining, it's dark. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. I'm commuting in traffic. I would have had a headache. I would have been miserable. I would have wondered how my life took me to this point. This point I'm at right now. But no, everything is fine. Life is beautiful. The raindrops are just falling, and in each one I see the reflection of every person's life around me. Humanity is beautiful. In this still frame shot of traffic on this crowded bus, I just found love and peace. Heroin is a wonder drug. Heroin is better than everything else. Heroin makes me who I wish I was. Heroin makes life worth living. Heroin is better than everything else. Heroin builds up a tolerance fast. Heroin starts to cost more money. I need heroin to feel normal. I don't love anymore. Now I'm sick. I can't afford the heroin that I need. How did $10 used to get me high? Now I need $100. That guy that let me try a few lines the first time doesn't actually deal. Oh, I need to find a real dealer. This guy is a felon and carries a gun. He can sell me the drug that lets me find love in the world. No, this isn't working. I need to quit. To answer your question, heroin feels nice. That's all. It just feels very nice. You can make the rest up for yourself. Attach your own half-truths to this drug that will show you the world. And for a moment, you will feel as clever as Faust. I did heroin yesterday. I am not a drug user and have never done anything besides pot back when I was a teen, AMA. I have never been a drug user. I drink once in a while, and smoked pot years ago, back when I was a teen in high school a few times, and that's it. I'm 24 now, have a master's and a well-paying full-time job. Yesterday I was walking through Washington Square Park where I pass every day, and there are always people there looking to sell drugs. Not in the park anymore due to cameras, but it is well known you can meet a dealer then and do the transaction elsewhere these days. They usually don't solicit drugs to you unless you stop to stand around near one of them for some reason or look like you're looking for something. Yesterday I happened to stop by a row of benches to check some messages on my phone when a dealer on the bench to my right asks me if I need anything. My life has been pretty boring the last few years, and I feel like I haven't really lived, taken any risks, or done anything crazy, so I figured what the hell, maybe I'll buy some pot, it's been a while. I said yeah, and after asking my several times if I'm a cop, he gives me his number and tells me to meet him at a fast food place several blocks away, and he will hook me up. I say all right and nervously check to make sure I have cash and go meet this shady-looking dude. We sit down, and after hounding me, asking if I'm a cop, he asks what I need. I tell him I just want a dime bag. And he says something like, "Nah, sorry man, I only sell half ounces, you can take that, and I've got some coke and H." At this point, I didn't want to buy half an ounce of pot. I probably never smoked more than an eighth in my life. But then I started considering his last word, heroin. I've heard so much about it and how crazy addictive it is, and seen it in the movies and TV. I'm thinking The Wire here, one of my favorite shows, and it really started to intrigue me. I've always wondered what it would be like to do heroin. Out of nowhere I say, "I'll take the H," and we do the deal there. I give him the cash under the table, and he slides me a small order of fries with a little stamped wax baggie in it. Then he tells me to let him leave first. I put it in my pocket, then nervously race home, my heart racing, cannot believing what I just did. I held on to that bag in my pocket palm, sweating the whole ride home. When I get home, I open the bag and dump some golden flakes and powder on my glass coffee table. At this point, I don't even know what to do. I know you can snort heroin, but it looked all flaky. So I try to remember how they did it in the movies, but they always seem to inject it in film, so I start Googling how to snort heroin like an idiot and do a little research on the stuff and how much to take. I used a card to get it into a fine powder and move a small bump to the side, which I inhaled through a dollar bill. I didn't feel anything yet, so I snorted a small line, which was essentially half the bag. There was very little inside. I waited, and in a few minutes, I had the most pleasurable feeling of pure relaxation and bliss wash over me. I just sat there, and everything felt amazing. I nodded off, and it was great. I had the TV on, but wasn't paying attention. I must have sat around for 4 hours doing nothing but feel total pleasure. It was like a full-body orgasm times 10 that kept going on and on. When I would nod off, it felt like I was in a pure, conscious, lucid dream-like state. Sometimes it felt like I was leaving my body. At this point, I did the rest of it and stayed up all night and must have been high for 10 hours straight. I might have slept at one point. It's hard to tell the difference when you nod off and everything feels good, regardless. Just the feeling of being under a blanket was amazing. I was blown away by the power of this drug and just how orgasmic it felt. I never understood why people did drugs before and got so hooked on them, but now I see why. I have the urge to do it again, but I will resist and not do it, at least not for a long time. I understand the addiction potential and how someone could easily tear apart their lives with this stuff. Heroin is pure powdered pleasure. I actually feel proud of myself for having the balls to do something this crazy, and I feel like it was a valuable life experience and my window into another world and part of society. I will never forget the day I did heroin. Now, ask me anything. Edit. Please, no more comments telling me I'm going to be a homeless addict dying of an overdose now. Don't lecture me with all of your misconceptions and lack of any real knowledge or experience about the drug. I understand if you know someone who has been hurt by it, we all do. Any drug can ruin lives. Please ask me questions instead of trying to lecture me, and do some research first before spewing lies. Update 2. I don't regret this at all, and I see a lot of talk about how cocaine isn't as bad as heroin, and people telling anyone considering trying a hard drug to do coke instead. I've known and seen a lot of heavy coke users, many who have become addicted and OD'd, and I find it disturbing that people think coke is acceptable. because some higher class circles find it socially acceptable. I'm thinking the young Wall Street and college crowds here who associate it with money and being cool and is easily manageable to use for recreation, while society tells them that heroin is for the poor and destitute and leads to automatic addiction and suffering. So I plan to try cocaine the next chance I get and compare the two in terms of effects and experience. Doing heroin was memorable and life-changing, and I know I can handle anything once. I've done my research on coke and know the risks, so if anyone has any questions or opinions on that matter, feel free to chime in, whether it is to tell me I'm a fucking idiot or to give me advice, whatever. This is an experiment and an adventure in life. I'll report back once I try it. As the post gained attention, people began responding. Some accused him of lying or trolling. Others warned him to stop, saying he was heading down a dangerous path. A few shared their own experiences. 2 weeks later, the OP returned with another update. This time he shared that he had started injecting heroin. 2 weeks ago, I tried heroin once for fun and made an AMA I have been using since and shot up for the first time today, AMA. Wednesday's night update. Fucking, I'm still withdrawing, throwing up and sweating out gallons of sweat. I really want to use and relapse right now. I know I shouldn't. These urges are so strong and overpowering. Please help me if you can before I get the chance to. 1,000 comment update. Fuck my life. I wish I was trolling and this was all some elaborate lie. I was doing everything right, have been clean, and somehow a rumor got out that I've been using, and my girlfriend found out, and she basically broke up with me last night, but is now putting that decision on hold. I have some serious unrelated business work I need to attend to in 2 hours, and I don't know if I'll be in any state to be able to and be ready. I can't stop crying. Fuck heroin. Fuck my life. I guess I don't need to say that since heroin pretty much fucked my life for me in under 2 weeks. I just want to die. NA update. Went to NA, I shared my story, and it seemed to hit a lot of people. I cried. I got a lot of support and numbers, and feel like I'm in a good place and truly believe I never have to use again. I will be going back. Update number whatever. I slept for about 30 hours, sweat out my entire body, and now I feel okay. I also took a shit for the first time in like a week, which was pretty awesome. I can stop this on my own. I don't even think I need NA, but I'm not ruling it out. I have no craving or desire to do heroin. I'm sure some of you will be quick to say I need real support, and maybe you're right, but right now I think I'll be okay. New update. I appreciate all the genuine concern and advice. I finished my stash. Bad idea, but too late. Threw out my needles and am too faded to respond to comments for now. When I sober up in a couple hours, I'll check out some NA meetings. Edit. I nodded off after taking another hit at 4 a.m. and couldn't be bothered to look at this anymore and just woke up sore with a headache. For those of you who think I'm a troll because I can do heroin and type well with good grammar, fuck off. It's not that hard if you type slowly and carefully without looking at the screen. The screen is a blur and too bright. And it's challenging. But I would rather post coherently than like an idiot. I know it's hard to believe someone dumb enough to do heroin is intelligent in other regards. Comments disintegrated into mindless bandwagon accusations of being a troll. I wanted to engage in a discussion and know I need help, and my mind isn't exactly right. I'll sift through the posts and respond to the genuine ones once I feel better. For people calling fake, is this enough proof for you? Do you want to see my track marks too? They're not pretty, and this is under 24 hours after first shooting up. I'm not proud of any of this, and posted it here because I can't tell anyone in my life and don't want to keep it to myself. I figured doing another IAMA would give me the opportunity to talk about my issues anonymously and help realize the extent of my problem through feedback. The assholes saying this is all fake trolling can fuck themselves. People can post about being prostitutes and all sorts of things that harm a large number of other people, but dismiss someone on the track to becoming an addict who needs help and just wants to talk and maybe help some other people from making the same mistakes. I appreciate the people giving legitimate advice and asking questions. I'm going to the next NA meeting I can find. I know there will be a lot of people telling me I told you so and urging me to seek help, and they are right. That's all good, and trust me. I know the danger I am in of ruining my life, but let's please keep this an AMA first and foremost. I will be checking out an NA meeting this week, and I know I am on a fast track to becoming an addict, and I want to stop it before it gets out of control. And I'm physically addicted. No one in my life can know about this, and I want to stop before it is too late. I have been using for 2 to 3 day periods, then taking a couple days off, then using again. The breaks were in part to try not to get hooked, and in part because I had an unreliable dealer who charged me more than double what I should be paying. I got ripped off several times when I tried to buy off the street. My former dealer is the guy who I first bought from. Today, I met a guy through some internet channels who said he could get bundles, 10 small bags of heroin, for significantly less than half the price my old dealer gave me on his most fair deal. He also happened to be an IV user and had a stash of sealed needles and supplies and offered to shoot me up. I had kind of hoped I would find someone who would, and he was a pro finding my small hidden veins and injecting a bag in one shot. To quote Trainspotting, take the best orgasm you've ever had, multiply by 1,000, and you're still nowhere near it. He gave me some new needles and tourniquets, and when I got home I tried to do it myself. After not hitting a vein countless times, I finally got a red flag and was good to go. I have injected 5 bags since 4 p.m., the last one a little less than an hour ago, and I'm tempted to do one more. AMA. Forgive me for any delays if I nod off. The post quickly erupted with comments urging him to stop immediately. Many already knew that once he started injecting, there was no going back. One user commented, "Oh dear, I'm an IV morphine addict, so I know where you're coming from. In my opinion, there's no going back now. You're going to be in for one hell of a ride. So you found heroin. You know you like it. Hell, you love it. Like the chase, like the catch, like the high. Opiates are like kissing God. And once you have tried them, there's no going back. If you don't clean up now, or clean up soon, within a month, this is what you can expect. After a few days of continuous use, you will become physically dependent. The withdrawals from opiates are like the high, but turned inside out. Imagine how much pleasure you get when you push the plunger all the way down and you feel the smack hit your brain and you just melt. Now turn it inside out. You can expect to be pissing out of your ass, freezing cold, yawning non-stop drippy nose. Muscles and bones feel like they're breaking and spontaneously combusting. No sleep, severe depression, and ideas of suicide. The list goes on. Second, be prepared to lose everything that you have. You will lose your job, your family, your friends, your possessions, your apartment, everything. The longer you keep going, the more you lose. Eventually, once you've lost all your possessions in the physical realm, then the smack will take your soul with it. You will be a cardboard cutout of your former self. This is exactly how I felt in the depths of using. The lights were on, but nobody was home. Just an empty shell full of smack. There is a very likely chance that you will die. There is a very likely chance that you will end up in prison. There is a very likely chance that you will end up in the hospital. You will continue to be ripped off to no end. There are no friendly or honest dealers. You will go places you thought you would never go. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. You are now a junkie. Welcome to my life. After these posts, he disappeared completely. No updates, no explanations. A year later, he returned, writing that he was in a psychiatric hospital. I am a patient in a psychiatric hospital. I was also technically dead last week. AMA. I am in one of the nation's finest hospitals and get internet access in 30-minute intervals before having to restart my browsing session, which is kind of annoying, along with the pesky web filter. I will be very grateful if anyone can help me get around it. All proxies I have tried are blocked. If you are reading this and know me, you probably already know who I am. AMA. Edit. I can't believe it has been over a year since I discovered heroin and did the AMAs on here after first trying it and several months later. Time flies when you're an addict. Longtime readers responded almost immediately. They asked about his well-being and whether he still stood by what he had said before. One asked him to explain his death. I was also technically dead last week. Explain this. I overdosed on a combination of mostly fentanyl, plus I had a lot of diphenhydramine, pregabalin, temazepam, and maybe some lingering oxymorphone in my system. I stopped breathing with several fentanyl patches in my mouth. They were previously used, and I thought they had much less left in them, partially blocking my airway, and would have been dead if I was found 10 minutes later, according to EMS. It took multiple shots of Narcan to revive me. Another used his own words against him. I just checked your first submission because I read it and I remembered you getting hostile to people who were saying that maybe trying H wasn't such a great idea. And I'm really glad I did the checking because I found this little gem. Edit. Please no more comments telling me I'm going to be a homeless addict dying of an overdose now. Don't lecture me with all of your misconceptions and lack of any real knowledge or experience about the drug. I understand if you know someone who has been hurt by it. We all do. Any drug can ruin lives. Please ask me questions instead of trying to lecture me and do some research first before spewing lies. Bet you feel pretty fucking stupid now, don't you? Sounds to me like your little once just for fun turned out to be exactly what people were warning you about. And you didn't listen to them. You just said, derp herp, you don't know me her, and spurted some hand-wavy, wishy-washy twaddle about how you knew. You just knew that you could keep it in moderation, and it was just this once, really. And now you're in a mental hospital with multiple substance abuse issues. Oh yeah, and you fucking died last week. Of a multiple drug overdose, which makes this statement that much more amusing. Please no more comments telling me I'm going to be a homeless addict dying of an overdose now. Don't lecture me with all of your misconceptions and lack of any real knowledge or experience about the drug. Sorry, what was that? I couldn't quite make it out. Please no more comments telling me I'm going to be a homeless addict dying of an overdose now. Don't lecture me with all of your misconceptions and lack of any real knowledge or experience about the drug. One more time so I can make sure I'm getting you correctly. Please no more comments telling me I'm going to be a homeless addict dying of an overdose now. Don't lecture me with all of your misconceptions and lack of any real knowledge or experience about the drug. Karma's a bitch, ain't it? This was his final post for years. Many believed it was the last they would ever hear from him. 7 years later, he returned with an update. He was clean. SpontaneousH 7 years later. Update for anyone who stumbles upon this account in the future. I don't know if anyone here remembers me, but you can look through my submissions history and get an idea. It's not pretty and will take you through a journey of my first time trying heroin to my life quickly falling apart. So take that as a warning. It's graphic. I was totally out of my mind, and you may not want to read it depending on where you're at. This is the first time I have logged into this account in a couple years, and I had a bunch of PMs, and people occasionally mention this account in various places on Reddit. So I'll post a quick update here for anyone who stumbles upon this in the future. I'm now almost 6 years clean from all drugs and alcohol, and life is good. It's too difficult for me to go back and even read most of what I originally wrote 7 years ago. Maybe one day I will be able to. I don't even remember what I said in the first post, but I know I can look back objectively and say that things probably weren't as good and normal before I tried heroin that time as I made it seem in that first post. There were certainly warning signs before that, with alcohol, weed, and other things that I had issues with substances, although I probably couldn't admit it to myself at the time. I would have never tried it if things were truly going well for me. What followed in the later posts with where it took me was very real. Thanks for everyone who has reached out over the years. I hope everyone here is able to find recovery and get the help they need. Many users responded with relief, praising him for overcoming his addiction and staying clean from all substances. After years of silence, it was closure, something many never expected to get. This concludes the saga of SpontaneousH. Please never try heroin. These stories don't end when the video does. For some people, they lasted years. For others, they never really ended at all. If you want more real stories like this, like the video and subscribe.